In the super expensive, capital-heavy world of marine engineering, most companies are just trying to keep their heads above water. So how is one company, Knowledge Marine and Engineering Works, we'll call them KMU, generating profits that honestly seem to defy gravity? Well, they've got a playbook that flips the industry logic on its head, and we're going to break it all down.
Okay, let's just start with a number that should be impossible in this industry. In fiscal year 25, KMU hit a 42% EBITDA margin. I mean, to put that in perspective, that's a level of profitability and sheer efficiency that most engineering firms can only dream about.
And this isn't just them, cutting corners to juice the numbers. While they were hitting those incredible margins, their revenue also shot up by 23% year over year. This is like the holy grail for any investor, a company that's both hyper-profitable and growing like a weed. And you better believe the market has noticed. All this success has just rocketed their market cap up to 2,000 crore rupees. That's a massive, massive vote of confidence from investors who are clearly betting that KMU has figured something out. Which brings us right to the big question, right? What is their secret? How on earth are they pulling this off in an industry that's famous for high costs and just brutal competition? Well, it all comes down to a really brilliant two-part strategy. So the first part of their playbook is, well, it's classic business strategy, but just executed perfectly. Find a battle you know you can win, and then just completely own it. And the choice they made is it's brilliant in its simplicity. See, most of the industry, including four global giants, they're all fighting tooth and nail over these massive deep water projects. It's a total bloodbath of competition. KMEW just looked at that whole scene and said, nope, not for us. Instead, they focused 100% on shallow water dredging, carving out this perfect little niche where the big guys don't play. It gives them a protected space to absolutely dominate. But avoiding the competition, that's only half the story. The second part, and you could argue this is the most ingenious part of their success, is a financial model that completely turns industry norms upside down. This is how they basically eliminate risk from the equation. And this right here, this is the core of their genius. The term for it is CAPEX-only post-contract wins. So, in plain English, they flat out refuse to take the massive financial risk of building a ridiculously expensive ship and then, crossing their fingers and hoping to find work for it. They do the exact opposite. This simple four-step cycle is literally the engine of their growth. First, they go out and win a big multi-year contract. Then, with that guaranteed money in the bag, they go get financing. It's only then that they build or buy the exact asset needed for that specific job. And finally, they deploy it right away and start generating predictable, immediate profit. It's just a beautifully simple, low-risk loop. And hey, don't just take my word for it. Analysts are all over this. Novama Wealth Research points out that this exact strategy is what delivers those fantastic returns. I mean, think about this. They can pay off an entire multi-million-dollar asset in just 18 to 36 months. After that, for the rest of the ship's 20-year lifespan, it's pretty much pure profit. And you can literally see how this strategy has played out over the last 10 years. They started with simple ship repair back in 2015. Then they win their first international contract, they go public, and now they're expanding their fleet to 40 vessels and moving to the main stock exchange. Every single step is a direct result of this super disciplined contract-first growth model. Just look at their current order book. It shows the model in action perfectly. Look at that top line, a massive multi-year sand mining contract in Bahrain. They've also got huge projects maintaining India's national waterways on the river Ganga. These aren't just little odd jobs. These are the big-ticket, long-term contracts that fuel their no-risk growth engine. So KMU has this brilliant model that's obviously working like a charm today. But what about tomorrow? Is this sustainable? Well, it turns out their strategy has put them in the perfect spot for some of the biggest trends that are going to shape marine infrastructure for years to come. So yeah, dredging is clearly their bread and butter, making up 96% of their revenue. But pay attention to that little 4% slice for other services. That might seem small, but it's the seed of future growth, proving they're not just a one-trick pony. They are perfectly positioned to ride three powerful waves of growth. First, there's India's big push for eco-friendly green tugs. That's a huge fleet replacement program. Second, you've got massive government investment in expanding India's inland waterways. And third, there's this growing international demand for sand for land reclamation, which plays right into their dredging expertise. Their business model is a direct match for all three of these huge trends. So let's wrap this up. Let's put it all together. What is the KMU playbook? What's the secret sauce we set out to find at the beginning of all this? It really boils down to these three things, all working in perfect harmony. First, they operate in a protected niche, that shallow water dredging, where they don't have to fight the giants. Second, they use that brilliantly risk-averse financial model where they get the money first and then they spend it. And third, that whole model is just perfectly aligned with the biggest growth trends in their sector. And this leaves us with a really fascinating final thought. KME View's story, it isn't just about one successful dredging company. By systematically taking the risk out of growth and aligning so perfectly with future demand, you have to wonder, have they actually created the ultimate blueprint for growth for any company in a capital-intensive industry? It's a powerful idea to think about.